Good evening everyone. I am Dulakshi. We are from Team E. You are warmly welcome to our presentation. Today we discussed about World War III. In the half 20th century, there were two major wars in entire the world. First one is World War I and from 1930 to 1980. Next World War II from 1939 to 1945. Let's follow our content. First, causes of World War III. Next, potential flashpoint. Third, military and technological advancement. Fourth, global governance and international relations. Next, humanitarian and environmental impacts. Finally, prevention and preparedness. My topic is causes of World War III. Under the causes of World War III, first I am going to talk about global economic instability. And economic instability, increased risk of geopolitical rivals lead to conflict. This because of leadership decisions depend on public pressure. Trade war. When increase in trade war, these things will happen. Like heightened traffic can be increased, trade limit may increase. Next, resources scarcity. Because resources of scarcity is increasing as population. What do you think about that? As increasing population, these things will happen. Like water and fossil fuel can be limited, and when competition become a conflict. Financial crisis. Financial crisis, rapid decline in value of financial assets and markets. Because of the widespread politics was destroyed and financial market become more active. Next, rise of nationalism. Under the rise of nationalism, first I am going to talk about populist movement. Populist movement can have political, social, economic conflicts. Because this reason, people adopt aggressive policies like militarization and preemptive defense. As the example, developing Soviet nuclear capabilities. Next, ethnic conflicts. Ethnic conflicts of world involves many moral conflicts that traditional principles of just war, human rights and international law. Historical grievances. Historical grievances are past industries or events that shape relationship between countries. Historical grievances are based on physical inheritance and economic systems. Finally, geopolitical rivalries. Under geopolitical rivalries, first I am going to talk about great power. Great power is world's powerful countries between for get natural resources like rare earth minerals and water resources as well as biological resources. Military alliances. Military alliances means making agreements for between countries or groups. For example, NATO, European and North American countries for fighting against Soviet Union from 1849. Finally, proxy war. Proxy war means providing support behalf of other countries without directly parties going to war. As the example, Korean War. Korean War was conflicts against USA and Soviet Union from 1950 to 1955. I think you have clear idea about causes of World War III. I invite Arosha to continue our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dulakshi. I am Arosha from Team E. Good evening, everyone. Today I am going to explain about the potential flashpoint of the world by now. Actually, a small war can be make a major war of the world because they are more likely to turn into very violent and World War III in the future into the world. And the political tensions, economic problems, and various opinions of the people are the main reasons for this conflict. Can be lead a major war into the world, and there are four potential flashpoints of the world by now. Let's talk about these potential flashpoints one by one. The first one is the South China Sea, the second one is the Middle East, the third one is the Korean Peninsula, and the last one is the Russian-Ukraine conflicts. First of all, I like to talk with you about the South China Sea. Actually speaking, South China is a very important place of economic resources, shipping lines, and political conditions because South China is a political comparative and strategic place of the world. And there are main flashpoints of the South China such as Paracel, Spratly, Kansir. Actually, those are islands of the South China Sea, and these islands are artificial islands made for military affairs in the South China, and actually speaking, South China has been at war with Taiwan for a long time because land problems. Because South China and Taiwan are fighting to capture the South China Sea, and these conflicts can be make World War III in future. And the second one is the Middle East. Actually speaking, I think that you all know about this conflict against the Israel and Palestine happened recently. The convergence of historical, religions, economic, and strategic factors are the main reasons for this conflict, as Bethlehem, Haifa, Sea of Galilee, and Kamsir, and this conflicts is there are many conflicts against the Israel and Palestine since long time, and the Jews and Muslim people are living these both of countries, and they will end up a small conflict in a major war into the world. And this conflict also can be make a third world war in future as soon as possible. The third potential flashpoint is the Korean Peninsula. There are also many conflicts of the Korean Peninsula for a long time. We can know about by using ancient books. And end of the Second World War, Korea was divided as North Korea and South Korea without signing an agreement because political and territorial conflicts have arisen against these countries, with the Korean Peninsula often seated a main flashpoint of the world. And the people who lived in Korea will end up a small conflict in a major war of the world. This conflict also can be make a third world war in future. And the last potential flashpoint is Russia-Ukraine conflict. Actually, this conflict remains one of the most important conflict for the global security of today world. And nuclear threats, economic impacts, global stability, geopolitical shifts, and alliance conflicts are the main reasons for this war. And these conflicts make major geopolitical concern of the world from this war. And this conflicts why considered a major war at the world into the world. And there is a possibility of World War III into the world as soon as possible. And about the prevention and preparedness of World War III will be informed by Chanuth at the end of our presentation.
Good evening all, I am Nethu. I think now you all have good understanding about the causes of World War III and potential flashpoints of World War III. if World War III would happen, let's see how the focus on military and technological advancement would be different compared to earlier world wars. Today, I hope to talk about 3 types of military and technological tactics which can be used in World War III. First one is cyber warfare. You can see the definition of cyber warfare through the slide. If I explain you something about the content of definition briefly, it means using digital attacks such as hacking, espionage and data manipulation by one of nations. And now let's see some potential tactics of World War III. Countries would deploy offensive cyber tactics to disable each other's telecommunication, creating societal chaos and weaken enemy status without the need for physical conflict. I think you all know in past world wars, we have not used advanced technology and we were fighting against people. So we lost many human lives. So, but today's world, we can do anything without the need for physical conflict. And also, by using cyber technology, we can disrupt or disable financial systems, transportation network, and defense system. And also, it is possible to steal valuable intelligence by using cyber technology. I think now you have a good understanding how it would be terrible for people to fight with these technologies. Now I am going to talk about some examples for cyber warfare. First one is advanced malware and ransomware. I think almost everybody does not have a clear idea of advanced malware and ransomware. I explain it. Advanced malware means any software that can damage computer system, steal data or gain unauthorized access to a network. And AI-driven hacking. It is possible to AI to identify and exploit network vulnerabilities faster and more effectively than human hackers. And also next one is deepfake and disinformation. Deepfake and disinformation means AI generated videos and news could manipulate public opinion and cause unrest. So I think now you have a clear idea about how it would influence to World War III. Now I'm going to talk about our second topic. Our second type of military tactics is artificial intelligence and autonomous weapons. If I explain you the brief idea of autonomous weapons are systems that can deal with enemy countries and very special point is AI is the central to the development of these programs. And also next let's talk about some examples for drone autonomous weapons. First one is drones. I think you all know about drones. So now I explain you the use of drones for military. The drones are used for recognizing civilians and targeted attacks and by now drones are being tested for space flight by NASA and United States Air Force. And other one is AI guided missiles and robots, and last one is swarm technology. The last type of potential tactics is space warfare. It means briefly the use of military technology in outer space. Now you can see some of key advancements of space warfare. There are anti-satellite weapons, satellite jamming and hacking, and also space-based weapons. Now I am going to talk about global governance and international relations. Especially we are in the shadow of World War III. I would like to talk about the tasks of international relations and diplomacy and conflict resolution. First, I would like to talk about the role of international institutions. Organizations like United Nations, NATO, and World Bank were established as response to the devastating impact of past world wars. Their purpose is to create structures that can manage and prevent conflicts at a global scale. Now, I would like to talk about diplomacy and conflict resolution. This is very important and special point because we can prevent and avoid an conflict by diplomacy and conflict resolution. We can take a good example from our history. It is the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis is an excellent historical example for averting catastrophe by direct communication and compromise. So, we want to maintain active dialogue, negotiation and compromise to build up strong friendship between countries, and also nations must be committed to open, honest communication and seek to understand about their requirement. Then, although we are in the shadow of World War III, we can prevent and avoid World War III by following diplomacy and conflict resolution. So, I think now you have good understanding about my topic, and next I invite Chanuth to continue our presentation.
Good evening everyone, I am Chanuth from Team E, and I am here to discuss about the humanitarian and environmental impacts of World War III. And first, I would like to discuss about the humanitarian consequences. The humanitarian consequences of a hypothetical world war could be very violent, and under this topic, I would like to discuss about loss of life, health crisis and food and water security. And first, the loss of life, and because of this world war, many people could perish from the direct attacks, bombings and raided violence. And I think it would be a big loss for the countries, as many people would be died because of this conflict. And the health crisis, the destruction of health centers and health services would cause a health crisis, and the doctors won't be able to treat patients as the lack of the medicines and antitoxins. Next one is the food and water security. The stopping the production of agricultural products will cause malnutrition and many other health problems, and so we have to be aware of to store food and water for our future to face a war like this. And next, I would like to discuss about the environmental impacts, and under this topic I would like to discuss about the widespread destruction, nuclear fallout and pollution. And the environmental impacts of a hypothetical world war could be very dangerous and far reaching. And first, I would like to discuss the widespread destruction. And because of this conflict, many properties, trees and the public places will be damaged because of the bombings and the direct attacks, and so it is not a good condition. And next, the nuclear fallout. The nuclear fallout is a big blasting of bombing that can damage a big area, and if we were exposed to these radiations, it would affect our future generations. So I would like to discuss about the pollution. The use of biological weapons and chemicals can cause a big pollution, And there are many types of pollutions as environmental pollution, sound pollution and air pollution. And as you can see in the picture, if a bomb would blast, there might be a big amount of air. So if we inhale this unsuitable air, we would cause many diseases like lung cancers and many lung diseases. And next I would like to discuss about the prevention and preparedness, as I think this is the most important topic of this presentation, because I am going to discuss about the preventing and preparing methods of this world war. First, the early warning systems. The early warning systems could play a major role in informing about the enemies, missiles and many other things. Under this topic, I would like to discuss about monitorization, timely intelligence and diplomatic engagement. Monitorization. Early warning systems can monitor missiles, enemies and the steps of beginning a world war. And it would be very helpful for the army as well as to military to prevent from a war like this. And the timely intelligence. The timely intelligence is very useful for the governments to discuss, to track enemies quickly. So they will be able to stop the misunderstanding among the other countries and nations. And the diplomatic engagement. Early warning systems can access discussions among other countries to prevent from a conflict like this. And so they will be able to discuss and take a decision not to start a war. Conflict prevention and resolution. We can establish dialogues between nations to discuss and solve their problems, solve solutions for their problems. And the leaders of our country can take the help of international organizations to discuss and solve the problems. And the leaders and the politicians of our countries should meditate and negotiate to control our countries peacefully, and they will be able to control our countries without a conflict. And we can encourage the nations not to start a war, and the leaders of our country should have to understand the harmful effects of beginning a war like this. And next I would like to discuss about the global cooperation and diplomacy. By reinforcing the UN's role can help to increase the global cooperation and diplomacy. And also we can form regular international summits that address human rights violations to punish those who violate the rules, and so the other countries won't start a war. And by organizing coalitions of nations, the countries and the country leaders will be able to discuss and find the solutions for their problems. And next one can be done by ourselves. So we only have to develop our frameworks in our mind and not to think of a war, and it will help to increase the global cooperation and diplomacy. So as a conclusion, the world war hasn't been started yet. The world war even hasn't started yet. So we talk about the symptoms of starting a war, and I also told you about the preventing and preparing methods of this war, and hope you all enjoyed our presentation.